one more time. Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and today is an exciting day. It's always exciting and nerve-wracking firing up a long-term project for the first time, seeing if it actually moves under its own power. This is I believe it's a 1975, 1976 XJ12, been off the road since 1986 or thereabouts. It blew its engine and sat for a long time. I've put a used good engine in there and we just fired it up a while ago, but that was with an external loom and external fuel system, everything. And now I've gone through the rest of the car. I've actually mounted the transmission, get all that mounted up, prop shafts back in, gone through the brakes, new master, new calipers all around, and disc. The rear suspension's been out, been rebuilt. Lots of things in the front end, one new fuel tank, lots and lots of things. So we're getting ready to see if it wants to, run under its basically own power with its own fuel system and everything. I haven't put fuel in it yet, and I haven't put coolants. That's what we have left to do. Then I want to recheck that we still have spark before we start introducing fuel to it. The only thing I've done is I hooked up the battery and just seen that it still cranks on a key. That's pretty much it. So let us put coolant in it, and then I'll show you guys really what's been going on, and hopefully we probably won't take it for a drive in this video, but let's just see if it wants to go into gear at least and move backwards and forwards in the workshop. So here we have it. It also has a fan air conditioning system on it. And I believe everything's hooked up. I've left the cold start injectors unplugged in case it floods. And I've put no fuel to it yet. Has all new belts and water pump and everything up front. Fan shrouds in, spinning freely. It's not really connected in the bottom, but I think it's fine enough just to fire up now. Yeah, just so many new things. Coolant hoses, everything. New master cylinder. Brakes are really good on it now. They're all bled up. And in the back, it's, let me see. I mean, it's all new pump, hoses, new tires on it. I'm sure you can see in here. It's a bit dark. I'll show you more later. But yeah, everything's new in here. And all of that. So I'm going to set you guys up in the tripod. We'll start filling up the coolant system. It's quite a big system. It's about 17 liters, I believe, or even more. So I've mixed up a bunch of coolant. We'll do that, and then we're going to add fuel just to the brand new tank, just the right tank for now, just for the fire up. But before that, I want to make sure that we have spark and all that. On these pre-HEs, you just have a fill at the expansion tank, and then you have up here in the radiator a little bleed plug, which be careful, they're easy to strip and break. But I had this, this is actually not the original radiator for this car. I saw that it was leaking when I tested it, so this is a spare radiator I had laying around. That's a good thing about that I mainly work on these cars, that I have a lot of stuff for them. So whenever we're doing a restoration and putting things together, I can usually go out to parts cars or up to my, I have a loft over on the other side of the barn with a lot of things. We'll see how much coolant it takes. Usually you can fill these until it actually flows up the radiator there. So we'll see. They just take a while to fill. Alright, I'll put a little bit more in, and then I think we'll test the ignition system. And after that, put fuel in it, see if it fires up. Alright, I want to test for spark. And the way I'm going to do that, because I'm alone, is we'll remove that lead from the coil to the distributor. And there's no fuel in the engine. And then I think we're going to set this up somewhere where it will hopefully jump to ground. Should be able to hear it as well. These cars have electronic ignition from factory, a system called Opus. And it worked at least when we did this last. So this should be the trigger wire. That's the starter relay that goes to the starter. I have a piece of wire here. So we're gonna go inside the car, turn on the ignition, and then crank it over. I'll move you guys in for a closer look here, and we'll see if we have spark. Okay, turn on the ignition. And we'll just jump this to here. Doesn't have to be that perfect. And watch right there. Let's see. Yeah, ton of spark right there. So that is working really well. And now we'll disconnect the battery again. And I'm going to pour fuel in the tank and see if we have any leaks or not. I just added about 10 liters of fuel to one of the tanks for now. And then we can add a bit more later. But it's time to prime the fuel system, check for leaks. Like I said, everything is new back here as well. So hopefully it all does what it's supposed to. And the pump runs for about 2 or 3 seconds every time. Hopefully what I added was enough to prime the pump. There we go. And I hear what I believe is fuel being pushed back into the tank, returning. All right, let's go look for leaks everywhere. Doesn't smell of anything, so that's really good. We'll look underneath the car. We can see any puddles. Nothing. That is good. Then we will check. I'm not seeing anything over here. I do have a little bit of stuffed nose, but I did smell fuel when I poured in the fuel. So that is working at least. One thing left to do is I'm going to grab the air filter box for this side, not hook it up, just lay it here so we can connect up this cable here, which is the air temperature sensor. They run really rich without those connected. Okay, let's see what it does. I'm not hearing much. There we go. I'm not really hearing. Oh wow, there's a massive cloud of smoke out the back. One more time. Well, several hours later, lots of troubleshooting. It is extremely rich. Check fuel pressure, that's actually perfectly fine. And it will run if I disconnect the fuel pump. And then I thought, you know what, let me just grab another spare ECU. Did that, made no difference. And then I thought, okay, there must be a cable break somewhere because I was plugging in and out the temperature sensor for ECU and that made no difference. And you see the yellow cable here pulled alongside the car. I used that to probe that cable there with the stripe on it. That goes back to pin 23 on the ECU, and that has no issue. And it compares the signal it gets from that to ground. And I wasn't getting any ground signal on that plug. You see, nothing. But then I saw on the schematic, it goes to a single ground point up here. And this cable right here was just hanging on by a thread. So pull that off and then, wouldn't you know, that is the ground. So I'm going to loosen that and ground all these together with a new fastener on there. Put everything else back together and then it should fire up and hopefully run normally. That's all replaced, and now we have good ground to the engine. So let me connect everything else back up, fire it up, see how it runs. Okay, moment of truth. There we go. It's not running all cylinders, but it's running slightly high fuel pressure, 2.5 bar, but we can adjust that down. But and we have one cylinder missing on that side, but that's not too bad. Did follow up pretty well. Let us great. We can turn it off, disconnect the fuel pressure regulator, or I'll probably have to set the fuel pressure at a later date. But now we know everything runs, and it was a pretty easy fix once we found what the issue was. Well, it's quite late now. I've been working on a lot of things. The car doesn't want to charge. That's the next thing, and it's the alternator. Initially, the charge light was actually bad, so I was really hopeful, but it doesn't charge. However, I want to end on a good note, and like I promised for you guys, we're going to move the car. And the Eagle viewers will know I've done a couple things today as well. The bonnet's on, the front bumper's on, and the grille. I really wanted to go for a proper drive. However, it's dark. There's no lights. But we'll fire it up, put in gear, move forward and backwards, and then at least it will have moved under its own power for the first time in nearly 40 years, because that's pretty cool. So let's see if it still wants to fire up and see if it wants to go in gear. Oh, that's nice. Lots of gear. It's working. Gear shift needs to be adjusted. That's solid engagement right there. I hear a little bit of gurgling, so probably slightly low on fluid. But you know what? That feels pretty amazing. We've come this far. There's a couple things left to do. I have to hook up the vacuum to the brakes because that was 2 feet on the pedal to stop it. And a couple more things. But I think in the next couple of days we can go for a proper test drive. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. And I thought it was just going to actually fire up pretty easily. But a little wire there messed everything up. But otherwise, pretty good car. So next couple of days or so, I'll be filming probably proper test drive, and then we have to book an inspection for it, and it'll be back on the roads for the first time since 1986, 1987-ish, something like that, which is pretty cool. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with the Classic. I'll see you soon.